My dad demanded I transfer my new bakery to my sister since she needs it more. So I did, then watched her get arrested when the IRS showed up about the $2 million in back taxes. Take a quick pause, hit subscribe and tell me where you're watching this from. It's amazing seeing this community grow across the world. The champagne was still fizzing in my glass when my father dropped the bomb that would change everything. I'm Naomi Bennett, and after 7 years of 80-hour weeks, burned fingers and maxed out credit cards, I'd finally done it. Sweet Haven Bakery was mine. The keys were literally in my pocket, still warm from the lawyer's hand. "Baby girl, this is amazing," Dad said, pulling me into a hug in the parking lot of my new shop. The October sun hit the gold lettering on the window just right. Sweet Haven Bakery owner, Naomi Bennett. I'd waited my whole life to see my name on something that mattered. Then I saw my sister Deandra's car pull up. She stepped out wearing $1,000 heels I knew she couldn't afford, her designer bag swinging. My stomach tightened. Deandra always showed up when she smelled success that wasn't hers. "Congratulations, little sis," she said, her smile not reaching her eyes. She was 36 to my 31, but you'd never know it from how she acted. "Cute little place you got here." Dad's whole demeanor shifted. "I'm glad you made it. We need to talk family business." He gestured toward my bakery like he owned it. "Let's go inside." That's when I should have said no. I should have trusted the ice forming in my chest. But I unlocked the door to my dream and let my nightmare walk right in behind me. Inside, the smell of fresh paint and possibility filled the air. I'd spent 3 weeks transforming this space from an abandoned pizza joint into something beautiful. Vintage light fixtures I'd hunted down at estate sales, refurbished ovens that cost more than my car, display cases I'd installed myself with YouTube tutorials and pure determination. Dad sat at one of my new tables and his face went serious. "Naomi, honey, we need to discuss something important. Your sister's going through a rough patch financially." "Dad, I'm not lending her money again," I said immediately. Deandra had borrowed $15,000 2 years ago for her consulting business, and I'd never seen a dime back. "Not lending," he interrupted. "Listen, Dee needs stability right now. Her credit's shot, she can't get business loans, but she's got experience. She ran that boutique for 3 years. Into the ground," I said flatly. "She closed owing vendors 40 grand. Deandra's eyes flashed. "That wasn't my fault. The economy was fine," I finished. "You just spent the revenue on trips to Dubai instead of inventory." Dad held up his hand. "Naomi, family takes care of family. Your sister needs this bakery more than you do. You're young, you can start over. Transfer the business to Deandra. She'll run it, you can work here, everyone wins." The words hit me like a physical blow. "You want me to give her my bakery? The one I spent 7 years saving for?" "Not give. Transfer. She'll pay you back eventually." "Like the 15,000? Dad's jaw tightened. "This is different. This is about family legacy." My phone started ringing at 6 the next morning. I let it go to voicemail. Then Mom called. Then my Aunt Carol. Then Deandra. By noon, I had 17 missed calls and a group text with my entire family titled, "Naomi's Selfishness." The messages made my blood boil. "Your sister has 3 kids to feed, Mom. When did you become so greedy?" Aunt Carol. "I raised you better than this, Dad. Guess you don't care about your nephews starving, Deandra." I stared at that last message. Deandra's kids weren't starving. Her oldest, Elliot, had posted Instagram stories from Cancun 2 weeks ago. But nobody wanted to talk about that. I called my best friend Jasmine, my hands shaking. "They want me to give her everything, Jazz. Everything I worked for." "Girl, please tell me you said hell no," Jasmine said immediately. "I did. Now I'm the villain." My voice cracked. My dad hasn't spoken to me like this since I was 16 and wrecked his car. He's acting like I stole something from Deandra. You didn't steal nothing. You earned it. Naomi, remember when you were working 3 jobs? Remember sleeping in your car between shifts so you could save on gas? Where was Deandra then? Posting pictures from Aruba, I said bitterly. Exactly. Don't you dare give up your dream for her disaster. But the calls kept coming. The pressure built like a vice around my skull. And my father, the man who taught me to ride a bike, who walked me down the aisle at my wedding before my divorce, who I thought would always have my back, he was leading the charge against me. 3 days later, Dad showed up at my apartment at 9 p.m. I almost didn't let him in, but the look on his face stopped me. He seemed older, suddenly tired. Can we talk? He asked quietly. No yelling, just us. I made coffee, my hands automatic from years of early morning shifts at other people's bakeries. We sat at my small kitchen table, the same one I'd eaten cereal at through college while planning my future. Naomi, I need you to understand something, Dad started. Deandra's in real trouble. Not just financial trouble. She's involved with some people, business people, who aren't patient about debts. She needs legitimate income fast or there could be serious consequences. My blood went cold. What kind of consequences? The kind I don't want to think about for my daughter. His eyes were wet. If she has this bakery, she can show income, restructure, get back on her feet. You're smart, capable. You'll bounce back. She won't survive what's coming otherwise. So I'm supposed to sacrifice my dream because she made bad choices? My voice rose despite myself. Dad, I love you, but that's not fair and you know it. Life isn't fair, baby girl. Family is. And right now, your sister needs you more than you need this bakery. That's when something broke inside me. The part that still believed my father saw me, really saw me, shattered like one of my mixing bowls hitting tile. Get out, I whispered. Naomi. Get out. After Dad left, I sat in the dark for 2 hours. Then I called Elliot White, my accountant, the only person I trusted with my financial life. Elliot had done my taxes since I started my first business, a custom cake operation I ran from my apartment. Elliot, hypothetically, if someone transferred a business to someone else, how would that work tax-wise? That's not hypothetical, is it? His voice was careful. Naomi, what's going on? I told him everything. The demand, the pressure, the threats about Deandra's situation. When I finished, Elliot was quiet for a long moment. Here's what I'll tell you, he finally said. If you transfer a business to someone, you're transferring everything. Assets, debts, tax obligations, all of it. The new owner becomes responsible for the business's entire financial history from the moment of transfer. Something clicked in my brain. Everything, including any hidden debts or tax issues. Everything. Why? Because I want to know exactly what Deandra's last business left behind. Can you pull corporate records for Lux Life Consulting? That was her company. Elliot was quiet. Then, give me 48 hours. Naomi? Whatever you're thinking, be careful. Very careful. I hung up and opened my laptop. If my family wanted me to hand over my dream, I was going to make sure I knew exactly what I was giving up. And more importantly, who I was giving it to. Because something about Dad's desperation didn't add up. Deandra was in trouble, sure. But what kind of trouble required legitimate business income fast? The answer I was about to discover was criminal. Elliot called back 36 hours later. Naomi, sit down. I'm sitting. Deandra's last business, Lux Life Consulting, closed 3 years ago. But it never filed final tax returns. The IRS has been looking for her. She owes over $2 million in back taxes, penalties, and interest. The room tilted. $2 million. She was running a fraudulent consulting scheme. taking advance payments for services never rendered, reporting minimal income while living large. The IRS has been building a case. They've seized her house, her cars, frozen her accounts. She's basically judgment-proof now, owns nothing in her name. So she wants my bakery to hide assets, I said slowly. If it's in her name, she can draw income, rebuild credit, look legitimate while the IRS thinks she has nothing. Worse, if she transfers her debt load to someone else's business entity, she might be able to argue restructuring. She needs a legitimate business to funnel her problems through. My hands started shaking. My father knows about this. He has to. That's why he said she needs legitimate income fast. Naomi, if you transfer this business to her, you could end up liable for her fraud. The IRS doesn't play games. They will come after every asset connected to her operation, including yours if the transfer looks suspicious. What if I did transfer it? I asked slowly. But I documented everything. Made it clear she demanded it, that it was coerced family pressure. Would that protect me? Are you seriously considering this? Elliot sounded horrified. I'm considering, I said carefully, letting my sister have exactly what she wants. I'm just going to make sure it's properly documented. Can you draw up an official business transfer that clearly states all existing debts, liabilities and tax obligations transfer with it? Elliot was quiet. You're playing with fire. No, I said. I'm fighting back. 2 weeks later, I sat in my lawyer's office with Elliot, my sister, and my father. The tension was thick enough to cut with my best bread knife. I'd barely slept, running scenarios through my head until dawn broke. I'll do it, I said quietly. I'll transfer Sweet Haven to Deandra. My sister's face lit up like Christmas morning. Dad exhaled relief. They didn't notice Elliot's carefully blank expression or my lawyer Karen Rodriguez's slight eyebrow raise. However, I continued, this needs to be done properly. Complete business transfer, all assets, all liabilities, all tax obligations. I want everything documented. Of course, Deandra said quickly. Whatever you need. Karen slid papers across the desk. This is a complete business transfer agreement. Ms. Bennett is transferring Sweet Haven Bakery LLC to Deandra Bennett Williams effective immediately. All assets, all debts, all future obligations, and all historical tax liabilities associated with the business ownership transfer to Ms. Bennett Williams. Historical tax liabilities? Dad frowned. Sweet Haven is brand new. Standard language, Karen said smoothly. Protects both parties. Deandra barely read the document. She just grabbed the pen and signed, her hand moving in quick, greedy strokes. Dad signed as a witness, relief written all over his face. When it was done, Deandra had the keys to my dream. And I had a signed document that would either save my life or end hers. Congratulations, sis, I said softly. Sweet Haven is all yours. Every single part of it. The smile she gave me was pure triumph. She had no idea what was coming. The next morning, I filed the transfer paperwork with the county clerk, the state business registry, and the IRS. Every document clearly showed Deandra as the owner of Sweet Haven Bakery LLC effective from the transfer date. Elliot ensured every filing was perfect, date stamped, official. Then I did something else. I called the IRS hotline for reporting fraud. I need to report a change in business ownership that may be relevant to an ongoing investigation, I said carefully. The new owner has outstanding tax liabilities from a previous business entity. The agent took my information. We'll look into it. I also called the State Revenue Department. Then I documented everything. The family group text demanding I transfer the business, the calls, Dad's late-night visit. I recorded a detailed video statement explaining the coercion, the pressure, why I felt forced to comply with their demands. Jasmine watched me work with growing horror. "Girl, you're setting her up." "No," I corrected. "I'm protecting myself. She demanded this business. She threatened me through my family. She signed documents taking full ownership. I'm just making sure the right people know she now owns a business while owing the federal government $2 million. Your daddy's going to lose his mind. My daddy helped her try to steal my dream and use it to hide from her crimes." My voice was ice. He made his choice. I spent the next 2 weeks working at Sweet Haven under Deandra's ownership, watching her strut around like she'd built the place herself. She immediately started changing things, ordering expensive equipment we didn't need, hiring her friends, spending money like water. "Naomi, we need to discuss your role here," she said one afternoon. "I'm thinking more of an assistant baker position. $20 an hour. I'd been paying myself $50 as owner." "Sure, Dee. Whatever you think is best." Her smile was poisonous. "I'm glad you're finally being reasonable. Family should support family, right?" "Right," I agreed. "Family should definitely support family." 3 weeks after the transfer, I walked out of Sweet Haven Bakery for the last time. I had new plans now. Better plans. Plans that didn't include my toxic family or their crimes. The first indication that my plan was working came 6 weeks later. Deandra called me at 7 in the morning, her voice panicked. "Naomi, I got a letter from the IRS. They're auditing Sweet Haven." "Why would they audit a business that's only 3 months old?" I kept my voice carefully neutral. "I don't know, Dee. What does it say?" "It says they're investigating tax liabilities associated with the business owner. But I just took over. This doesn't make sense." "Did you read the transfer papers before you signed them?" I asked innocently. "The ones that said all tax obligations of the business owner transfer with the business?" Silence. "Then, what are you talking about?" "The papers you signed, Deandra. They made you responsible for any tax issues associated with Sweet Haven's owner, which is you. And you have some pretty significant tax issues from Lux Life Consulting, don't you?" I could hear her breathing, quick and shallow. "You bitch. You knew they were looking for me." "I knew you owed money," I said calmly. "I didn't know you'd be stupid enough to sign documents taking ownership of a legitimate business while running from the IRS. That's on you. Dad said you'd help me. Dad said I should give you my business. I did. He never said I should help you commit fraud." She hung up. Within an hour, my phone exploded with calls from my family. I ignored every single one. Instead, I met with my new business partner, my friend Jasmine, who'd been working as a corporate accountant while dreaming of entrepreneurship. "The lease is signed," she said, sliding papers across the table at our favorite coffee shop. "We open Second Chances Bakery in 2 months. This location is even better than Sweet Haven." I signed the partnership agreement, my hands steady. Starting over hurt, but I was doing it on my terms this time. No family pressure, no guilt, no strings. Just me, my best friend, and a future we'd build together. 3 months after the transfer, I was testing recipes in my new commercial kitchen when Jasmine burst through the door. "Turn on the news. Channel 7. Now." I wiped flour from my hands and pulled out my phone, streaming the local news. The headline made my heart stop. "Local business owner arrested on federal tax evasion charges." There was Deandra, hands cuffed behind her back, being led from Sweet Haven Bakery by federal agents. The reporter's voice filled the kitchen. Deandra Bennett Williams, owner of Sweet Haven Bakery, was arrested this morning on charges of tax evasion, fraud, and money laundering. Federal prosecutors allege Ms. Bennett Williams owes over $2 million in back taxes from a previous business venture and attempted to hide assets through the recent acquisition of this downtown bakery. I watched my sister's face on the screen, shocked, terrified, furious. Behind her, I could see my father trying to talk to the agents, his hands gesturing frantically. The investigation revealed that Ms. Bennett Williams transferred ownership of the bakery from her sister in what prosecutors are calling a deliberate attempt to shield assets from federal seizure, the reporter continued. The business will be liquidated to satisfy the outstanding debt. My phone rang. That. I answered this time. Are you happy now? He screamed. Your sister is going to prison because of you. No, I said calmly. Deandra is going to prison because she committed fraud, evaded taxes, and then tried to use my business to hide her crimes. I just made sure she couldn't drag me down with her. She's your sister. And I'm your daughter. But you chose her criminal enterprise over my dreams. My voice cracked despite my control. You pressured me, manipulated me, made me feel like the villain for wanting to keep what I earned. Well, congratulations, Dad. You helped a criminal and now you can live with that choice. We're family. No. A family protects each other. You threw me under the bus to save her from consequences she deserved. That's not family. That's abuse. I hung up. Jasmine handed me a tissue. You okay? I will be, I said. And I meant it. The next few weeks were chaos. Sweet Haven Bakery was indeed liquidated. The equipment and fixtures sold at auction to satisfy Deandra's debt. I didn't attend, but Elliot did, sending me updates. The building sold to a restaurant group. The ovens went for a fraction of what you paid. The IRS is still short about $1.7 million after everything. That's not my problem, I said, and it felt good to say it. My family's response was predictable. Mom called me a snake. Aunt Carol said I'd burn in hell. Various cousins weighed in with opinions about my character. The group text that once criticized my selfishness now focused on my cruelty. Only one family member reached out differently. My Uncle Terrence, Dad's younger brother. He called 2 weeks after Deandra's arrest. Naomi? It's your Uncle Terry. You got a minute? Depends on whether you're calling to yell at me. He laughed, but it was sad. No, baby girl. I'm calling to apologize. Your daddy told me some things about what went down and I did some digging. Found out about Deandra's tax situation, the pressure campaign. I'm sorry. You got railroaded and I didn't see it. My eyes burned. Thank you. That means more than you know. Your sister made her bed. Your daddy helped her make it. You just refused to lie in it with them. He paused. For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. Takes guts to stand up to family like that. After we hung up, I cried for the first time since this nightmare started. Not sad tears, releasing tears. The kind that wash away old pain and make room for new growth. Jasmine found me in the office, mascara running. You good? Yeah, I said. I'm good. You know what? I'm better than good. Second Chances opens in 3 weeks and we're going to kill it. He grinned. Damn right we are. Deandra's trial was scheduled for 6 months after her arrest. I wasn't subpoenaed, but the prosecution did contact me to verify the timeline of events and the business transfer. I told them everything, the coercion, the pressure, the documentation I'd kept. The assistant district attorney, a sharp woman named Patricia Morrison, listened carefully. You protected yourself well, Ms. Bennett. The documentation you provided makes it clear you were coerced into the transfer and that Ms. Bennett Williams knew she was taking ownership of a legitimate business while evading federal tax obligations. I just wanted my family to stop pressuring me, I said honestly. I didn't think giving her what she wanted would lead to her arrest. Patricia's look was knowing. But you knew about her tax issues. I knew she owed money. I didn't know the extent until after I'd agreed to transfer. By then I was protecting myself. Smart, Patricia said. Your documentation saved you from being charged as an accessory. That revelation hit hard. I'd been close, so close, to being dragged into Deandra's criminal mess. If I hadn't documented everything, if I hadn't been meticulous, I could have been sitting in a cell beside her. The trial lasted 3 weeks. I followed the coverage online, watching my sister's defense crumble under the weight of evidence. The prosecution painted a picture of deliberate fraud, tax evasion, and attempted asset concealment. Deandra's lawyer tried to argue she'd acted on bad advice, but the paper trail told a different story. When the verdict came down, guilty on all counts, I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no vindication, just emptiness where family used to be. Until I got a letter from Deandra, forwarded through her lawyer. I hope you're happy. You destroyed my life. Dad was right, you're selfish, cold, and cruel. You could have helped me, but instead you set me up. I'll never forgive you. I read it once, then burned it in my kitchen sink. She still didn't get it. Still didn't understand that actions have consequences, that you can't run from your choices forever. But that wasn't my problem anymore. Second Chances Bakery opened on a brilliant Saturday morning in March. The line wrapped around the block before we even unlocked the doors. Jasmine and I had spent months perfecting our recipes, designing the space, building something beautiful together. Uncle Terry was first in line, grinning ear to ear. Proud of you, baby girl. Mom and Dad didn't come. I hadn't expected them to. They'd chosen their side and I'd chosen mine. The difference was that my side didn't involve enabling criminals or sacrificing dreams on the altar of toxic family loyalty. My ex-husband Darren showed up, surprising me. Heard you were opening a new place. Wanted to support you. What you did, standing up to your family like that, took courage. I'm sorry I never had your back the way you deserved. Thank you, I said and meant it. Closure felt good. By the end of the day we'd sold out of everything. Jasmine and I collapsed in the office, exhausted and exhilarated. We did it, she said. We did it, I agreed. My phone buzzed. An email from Patricia Morrison. Thought you'd want to know. Deandra Bennett Williams was sentenced today to 5 years federal prison, plus restitution. Your cooperation was noted favorably. Take care of yourself, Naomi. 5 years. My sister would spend 5 years behind bars for the choices she made, the crimes she committed, the consequences she tried to escape by stealing my dream. I should have felt something, guilt, sadness, vindication. That I felt free. Free from the pressure, the manipulation, the toxic expectation that I set myself on fire to keep others warm. Free to build something real, something mine, something that couldn't be demanded, transferred, or stolen. You okay? Jasmine asked. I thought about Dad's face when he demanded I sacrifice my dream. About Deandra's triumphant smile when she signed those transfer papers. About the family group text that called me selfish for refusing to be a doormat. Yeah, I said. I'm better than okay. I'm done letting other people's emergencies become my tragedy. Sweet Haven was my first dream. Second Chances is my second. And this time nobody's taking it from me. Jasmine raised her water bottle. To Second Chances. I clinked my bottle against hers. To knowing your worth and protecting it no matter the cost. Outside, the evening sun painted the windows gold. Tomorrow we'd do it again. Baking, building, creating something beautiful. But tonight I'd rest in the knowledge that I'd survived my family's betrayal and come out stronger. Some people think family means never saying no, never setting boundaries, never protecting yourself. They're wrong. Real family means respecting each other's dreams, celebrating successes, and refusing to enable destruction. I lost my father's respect when I wouldn't give my sister my business. But I gained something far more valuable. My own. And that, I realized as I locked up Second Chance's bakery for the night, was worth more than all the family approval in the world.